Hi, boys and girls, it's Shane, and this is how I got started in real estate investing. I played this board game just a few years ago and had no inkling when I started playing this game that I would ever go into real estate investing. Literally, had no idea that the next day I was going to call my bank and start the process of buying my first investment house. So, in this game, there's these small deal cards. When you pull cards, it has information like this one says there's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house for sale. Not been lived in for 6 months. This is bank foreclosed, price reduced, loan includes the estimated, and it has a cost, it has a down payment, it has all these elements of a deal. This is what we did to buy that house last week for no money down and $500 a month. Is we kept pulling deal cards. We kept looking at houses. If you follow my channel, we've done walkthroughs on probably 30 or 40 houses in the last 3 or 4 months. And we've only bought 2 of them that we were able to figure out a way to make the numbers work. But when you find a deal and you can make the numbers work for you and the person that's selling it, that's when you get a win. That's when it works. And you could do this, to be clear, with no credit whatsoever. I could file bankruptcy today and I could have still gotten this deal tomorrow. There's nothing about this deal that involved my credit. My credit could have been a 0 or a 2. It could have been, I could have had 3 cars repossessed last week and I still could have done that deal. There is nothing stopping you from being able to do this except your mentality of deciding you can't do it. A lot of people have this perspective of, we just sit around and we call a realtor and say, hey, find me a deal. And the realtor finds you a deal, and then boom, you've got a deal. You go sign the paper in a few weeks, and that's not how this works at all. You will not find deals like this by just calling a realtor. We pay attention when we're driving down the road. We saw a for sale by owner sign yesterday. Stopped, called it. What are the details on this house? Can I do a walkthrough on it? Can I take a look? Let's see if the numbers work. Even when I'm not actively buying houses, because there are times where you'll have enough homes. I've bought 2 already this year. You still have to be looking at deals to keep up with what the prices are. And if you find something that's an exceptional deal, you'll make room for it somewhere, especially when you're buying no money down. And the next thing, once you find the deal, is you need to negotiate the deal. You need to talk to them and figure out, how do we make this to where I can buy it and they can feel good about it. So the way we negotiated this last deal, the guy's selling the house. He wants to get $80,000 for it. He hasn't put it on the market yet, but he knows that that's a stretch. When you talk to him, like, you're not going to get $80,000 for this. You know that's not going to happen. So let's talk realistically. You're probably looking at $60,000, right? Yeah, you're probably right. Okay. So if I were going to go get a loan and everything on this, I might consider $55,000 or $50,000 as an option. I don't think you'd be that excited about that, would you? No, I wouldn't be. Okay. Well, what if instead I agreed to pay you $80,000, like you want? What would you be willing to accept that as an offer? Well, yes, of course. Okay, well, if I'm going to pay $80,000 on this house, this is my terms. I'm limited on how much I can do in buying houses in a year if I keep having to make down payments. If I have to make a $10,000 down payment on this house, that's $10,000 I can't do as a down payment on another house. That's $10,000 in renovations I can't do. You understand that, right? Yes, okay. So the renovations this home needs, why don't I count that as my down payment? And you finance this to me for the next 5 years for $500 a month-ish, 7% of loan, $80,000 amortized. You'll get your full $80,000 plus interest. It'll probably come out closer to $100,000 when this is all said and done. You don't have to touch the house. I'll do the renovations and I'll make it good. If for some reason I back out after 6 months or a year, you're not in any different situation than you were, other than any improvements I made on this house or improvements you don't have to do. So then you can sell it for more and it'll be better. I will make money off of this because I'll rent it to somebody for more than that. And you understand that I'll be making money, but you should be okay with that. It makes it safe. It means I'll be able to afford to make these payments. And he even asked the question of, do you have other properties where if this didn't work out, yes, I have some other properties that I have rented, so if this doesn't work out, I'll still be able to make your monthly payments. And he's like, okay, well, that's good. That minimizes the risk. Let me go talk to my partners on the house and see if we can come up with a deal. And a few days later, I hadn't heard from him. He finally calls me and says, I think we're going to do this. And I said, great. It only took about a week to get all the paperwork drawn up and prepared, and we could close the whole house because it's done with an owner finance. When we close it, we go through a closing company. That's really important, a title company that understands what we're doing. They will make sure that both of our interests are met, and a real estate attorney goes over all the paperwork to make sure that we're covered and they're covered. And this becomes a win-win for everybody. I'm not taking advantage of them. They're not taking advantage of me. And that's the way business should be. It takes effort. It takes work. You may have to look in markets that aren't your market. That's okay. You can remotely buy a house. You don't have to be in that place. And if you yourself need a house and can't buy one in your market, you can relocate. Humans have been moving for generations, whether following buffaloes across the prairie or moving from religious persecution to the United States or for available land or other opportunities. You can move. And in today's day and age, it's much easier to travel, and you can even FaceTime your mother. This is something you can do.